everything that God said would happen. The gods should pray to protect themselves. But God says that gods will totter. Idols in Egypt will totter. That means you will see them shaking. And when things totter, sometimes they go and then they still. And then sometimes they do like this and then they topple and they fall. And that's exactly what we're going to see. And it says the heart of Egypt will melt in its midst. It just means that the hearts of the people won't cope. A religious figurehead is about to fall in America. A man of great size and strength and considerable stature in the religious landscape of America. So this is definitely in the Christian church. Yah says that the time has come for this man to eat the harvest that he has sown. The seeds he put into the earth are ripe for harvest, and now his time has come to reap his rewards. Now, I'll just stop here because I have to explain what was happening. When God was speaking to me, I said my heart was quailing. My heart was like, oh, another person, someone is going to die. And I was just feeling this, I guess, just this feeling, this failing feeling. And I was seeking in my heart of the Lord. When he says this man is going to eat the harvest that he sowed, I thought, oh no, this must be someone who has done something again. One of these people that have secret lives, secret evil, something. Because God was talking about this man's seeds that he's sown. Now the harvest is ready and this man is going to eat it. And usually when God is saying you shall eat this and that, it's always a bitter fruit. It's a bitter harvest according to my experiences of what I've brought here over the years. It says the seeds that he put into the earth are now ripe for harvest, and now his time has come to reap his rewards. Now I was thinking, Lord, is this a just reward? Is this a good reward? Is this an evil reward? I didn't ask, but I was seeking. And God didn't answer me directly, but the feeling that I had is that this man has not done anything. The feeling that I had is that this is not a bad reward that this man would get. And then right after that, God laid on my heart this that made me know that it's not as if this man has done anything. It is simply his time. God will use him as a sort of marker in where we are. Said being with the living is not always because of it. Not being with the living anymore is not always a judgment or a bad outcome. So God was basically saying that, Celestial, not being alive, not being with the rest of the living is not always because it's an evil judgment or like it's a bad outcome to have happen to people. And he said, Yah says that it is simply time to rid the earth of its idols. So people who are presented as, reacted to, or treated as, or worshipped as idols are going to have to be removed in large numbers so the earth can be reaped of its harvest. I'll say that again. God says that it's simply time to rid the earth of its idols. And so that means that all people who are presented as idols, all people who we, the human beings, react to as idols. So you see someone, you start screaming, you start overreacting, you start misbehaving, you start acting as if it's, I don't know, John the Baptist come back from the dead or something. You start worshiping the person or treating a person as an idol. Oh, he's my idol. Oh, the greatest of all time. Many of these sins, they take place on a per second basis out of people's mouths. And God says it's simply time for all these types of people. This is the fullest heads of wheat, okay? The ones who have reached their fullness. He says it's simply time for them to be removed in large numbers because the harvest of earth is about to start. The harvest of earth is where I told you that you will see a roller coaster, and that roller coaster will go and go and go. And then at the time that the roller coaster was in Bear Mountain or whatever it is, the roller coaster was fine. These people, they don't play games because these big amusement parks and things like that, they're not trying to lose billions of dollars in a multi-class action lawsuit and stuff like that. And so they will oil everything on that roller coaster that needs to be oiled, and they will check the bars before they even open the park for the day. And that machine will behave itself perfectly in the parked position. But then it will wait when it's at the apex where it's supposed to plunge down. And at the apex, that's when all the bars are going to go up, so that when it plunges down, 80% of the people in the ride are going to fly out. I told you that these things are going to start to happen. When you see these kinds of things that only belong in American horror movies happening, that is the harvest of the earth. When you harvest something, you don't go out into the field and begin to go 1 cotton, 2 cotton, 3 cotton, 4, 5 cotton, 6 cotton, 7 cotton, more. You don't pluck piece by piece. You go out into the field with a combine harvester and you just whack a huge bunch of land. And then you look back and you see all the wheat being crushed by that thing and tossing the wheat one way and tossing the chaff the other way. That's what it means to harvest. Harvest is a serious work by which you are clearing what you planted, because now the earth is about to give up what it brought forth. And God is just saying that when it comes to these idols, figureheads, and everything, that they need to be removed in large numbers, because the earth itself is about to go through its mass harvesting, and the heads are going to go first. So the figureheads will go first. Anyone who is a notable figure, if the time is up for you who live in the heavens to come down, then you will come down. Whoever is worshipped by men, your name will be called, and you will leave this earth through the doorway of the sheep or the goats. Names will be called in the echo chamber of heaven, and if your name is called, you will give up your seat among the living and go home. So now you can hear that this popular belief that, oh no, but we all die. Of course we all die. But then, as I said earlier in this video, many people don't understand something so basic, which is that the candle flame of life, it's God who's holding it. Every time somebody has died, nobody dies by mistake. If you die and God has decided that it's your time to come home, then I shared this in one of my videos. I said, then God is the one who's called you home. But if you die and it seems like a horrible mishap, it just seems like a bad connection, something like that, then the Lord has removed his hand, because no one can touch you when God's hand is on you. This is basic 101 Jesus understanding. No one can touch you when the Lord's hand is on you. They tried to kill Apostle John. They boiled him in oil. They did that thing and the other thing, and it didn't work. He just sat on the Isle of Patmos with all his burn scars, and Jesus came to him at the end of his life, because that was Jesus' good friend. They did not kill John the way they killed Apostle Peter, Apostle Paul, Apostle James. James was one of the first to die. So when you die, one of the first things is that it's an indication that either God himself has decided in love that your time is up and it's your time to rest, or God has decided to remove his covering from on you. And then the minute God stops covering you, it's a 2.8 second delay before Satan gets at you. 2.8 second delay. The minute God finished his sentence and said, but do not take his life, that same day Satan was like, kill the cows, kill the sheep, kill the kids. He killed everything that Job had. He didn't do it over a weekend. Go and read Job 1 for yourself. The same day, Satan wiped out that man's net worth, erased his entire family legacy from the source of the earth, and then hit him with boils the second day. That's how wicked the devil is. Only God preserves our lives. Only God can keep us. So the very sight of death in the home is something that people need to train themselves to think more differently of, so that they can perceive, was this loss from the Lord? Was this loss because the Lord removed his hand? And you can easily see when God removes his hand. Just look at how the person was living. Some of those deaths are very easy to see. You look at how the person was living, and you don't need to wonder where they went. So God is basically saying that he's going to reap from among this famous that you love so much, the ones that you know them because, I grew up next to them. Oh no, so-and-so is my family. That's great. That's great. Get those black dress and heels ready.